Welcome to Rum and Real Estate episode 99. Today I'm going to once again go against the grain because I'm going to talk a bit about designations and certificates for real estate professionals. Now, whether you're a consumer or an agent, you've probably seen real estate agents with a myriad of acronyms after their name and you have no idea what they mean. Heck, there are some of them that I don't even know what they are because they create new ones seemingly every year. But what I'm going to do is give you a brief description of what they are, what their intended purpose is, and really what I think the general public thinks about them or how they view them when choosing a real estate agent to handle their transaction. Today we are going to be drinking Sugar Island. This is a $25 rum. I did a whole video of the tasting of this, and I'll just say this, it was very surprising, and I think you might enjoy watching that after you've watched this. So this rum is worth the purchase price. So knowing that, let's get right onto the show. So designations, what are they? What are real estate designations? So I found a great definition of real estate designations, and it says that designations enable agents to increase their skills, their proficiency, and knowledge in various real estate sectors. Sounds good? Education. Always be learning. I am not going to stop anyone or tell anyone not to get the education. But my question is this. What is the significant difference between just taking a class, say in your market center, and learning something and implementing it, and being designated that you took a class to learn something and implemented it? When researching this topic, and my somewhat non-traditional opinion of them, which we'll talk about later, I found a litany of articles talking about why they are a worthwhile investment for the real estate agent. What I didn't find is any articles about the general public's awareness of these designations that agents can get and whether they are actually concerned about them. Or, to put it more directly, do they even care? Many of the articles that I perused on this topic talked more about the education gained than the actual, practical, real-world results of getting the designation. And in fact, when I searched the terms are they worth it, I received more articles that never really answered the question, and in fact would say that the question is invalid, repeating the line about, it's about the education gained. And I don't know. I just think that's kind of a cop-out answer. Because if you're going to go do something like get a designation, you should want to know if the designation is actually creating an impression with the average consumer that would consistently drive a consumer to choose an agent with a designation over one that does not, all things being equal. In a recent RISmedia article that I read, which kind of sparked this episode really, they stated that designations clearly indicate to the consumer that the agent has the skills and knowledge to successfully navigate a transaction for the client. I can tell you in the 10 years I've been doing this, I have not had a client once ask me for my designations or certifications or ask me why I don't have any. Because the real estate industry is a relationship business. It's like the vast majority of all transactions are the result of relationships with this person, that person, and referrals are everything. So if a person is referred to an agent that from their own sphere of influence, and then that agent can show real world results, the designations are going to mean very little to that potential client because they trust the referring source and they can trust the data that the agent can show about their results in the field, regardless of how many acronyms are behind their name in their email signature. Perhaps the biggest issue I have is with the emphasis that is sometimes placed on having a designation or certification, especially in the relocation area. Now, most relocation companies will require that the agents to whom they send listings and buyers be certified as relocation experts. My problem with this is that it takes the clients out of the equation. And if you've been watching me for the last 98 episodes, I'm very adamant about putting the clients first, no matter what happens and no matter what decision needs to be made in any real estate transaction. That client may already have an agent that they know, like, and trust that they want to represent them during the relocation process. But because that agent may not have a designation as a relocation expert, the relocation company will assign them a complete stranger because they went to a class for 2 or 3 days and now have this acronym behind their name. In my opinion, all decisions regarding the selection of an agent in any situation should be the client's choice. And I really doubt that when choosing this agent, that the general public is actually aware of what these acronyms mean, and so they don't really place them very high on the criteria scale when trying to make their decision. I do know that they'll put trust, likability, and proven results as high criteria. And these 3 things will go a lot farther in the experience, in the expectation of the transaction going well for both the agent and the client, regardless of whether there's a designation involved. Okay, so now I have described what designations are. I have described what their intention was and whether they've hit the mark or not, and some of the issues that have been, at least I've experienced with them, and my opinions about how they can or can't affect clients. But here is my unpopular opinion about designations, and you probably gleaned this up until now. And that is, I think that designations are kind of a money grab, to be honest. Because you can go get the same education, you could teach the same class. You can offer the class for X dollars and learn something. You can make a 1-day, 2-day, 3-day, whatever you want to do. The problem is that there's companies out there, and now even the National Association of Realtors actually offers 26 of these things, I think now. And they will charge triple to quadruple X to teach the same principles, but now you'll get a certificate and the ability to put a couple letters after your name for something that the general public still doesn't quite really understand. And if they have to ask the question of what it means, it probably didn't do its intended job of helping you stand out when someone's trying to choose an agent. However, and let me make this clear, because going back to the beginning, I said this at the beginning. I'm not saying that the education that you get isn't worth it. You can learn things from going through the designation process. At the end of the day, though, I think that the fact that they sell agents that these designations are a way to significantly stand out among your peers in a given sector, I'm going to tell you what, given my experience with some of these people that have these designations, let's just say I have my doubts. Now, if you're still with me after hearing that, I do have some advice for both agents and clients regarding designations. If you're an agent and you are really interested in getting a designation for a certain sector or certain niche of the industry, I'll tell you, go for it. I'll admit that the system is set up that in certain areas like relocation or short sales, that they place a high emphasis on the fact that you have a designation for those areas. And if that's what you want to do, go knock yourself out. What I'm doing is I want to caution agents who believe that getting a designation is going to be that magic bullet that's going to help them stand out in the very crowded industry that is still largely dependent on having great relationships with people. And if you're a client and you are interviewing agents to help you with your real estate transaction, be sure to look into the results that they have and the references of anyone you meet with, and not just the designations that they have. Because remember, you're looking for someone that you know, like, and trust. And preferably, they will have been referred to you by someone that you also feel the same about. This will ensure that you have the best opportunity to have a great real estate experience designations or not. That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching today, and thank you for continuing to spread the word about rum and real estate. Your shares of these videos have been so humbling to me, and I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate that immensely. As always, go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and also on Facebook, and be sure to check out any of the other fun rum and real estate videos I have on both sites. Thank you, and I will see you next time.